Previously, I viewed resourcefulness as a form of pragmatic intellect. However, I now see it as a combination of energy level, mindset, and unconscious philosophy, an experienced and embodied, yet seldom expressed worldview. Seldom expressed because those living through it tend to remain occupied with living, lacking the time for the somewhat detached act of verbally describing things. The claim that an unexamined life is not worth living is a conceit of philosophers. Resourceful individuals, through their very being, disprove this self-congratulatory notion. While some resourceful people indeed lack critical reflectivity, as do some philosophers, not all of them do. Many can be provoked into critical reflection when it serves a practical purpose in uncovering a more resourceful path forward. But fundamentally, they find critical reflection dull, accurately judging it at times as a crutch for those too fearful to live life to the full. Resourcefulness is a persistent, patient, problem-solving approach. It involves a seemingly endless ability for trial and error that non-resourceful individuals would find unsustainably draining and exhausting. Attention and imagination are certainly important components of resourcefulness. After all, one needs to closely observe an unsatisfactory situation to generate possible solutions. However, there are many highly attentive and imaginative individuals who produce interesting and creative work yet lack resourcefulness. Something more is required beyond attention and imagination alone to qualify someone as genuinely resourceful. Paradoxically, this creative visionary mindset actually limits creative ambition, since considerably more complex creative endeavors inevitably encounter phases where resourcefulness, rather than raw creativity, is essential. For instance, if you're an artist trying to invent a novel style of painting involving a specific shade of blue, but you run out of that blue paint and it's unavailable, you're immediately faced with a practical problem-solving challenge. Either source more paint somehow or come up with a creative workaround. Being an ingenious painter does little to help navigate perplexing communications with obscure blue paint distributors in China. Resourcefulness and execution are frequently just as critical as creativity itself. Non-resourceful creatives are easily discouraged by daily annoyances and practical issues of varying complexity. They resent effort wasted on such problems instead of their craft. To them, resourcefulness takes time from truly living. I admit I sometimes share this mindset. The resourceful person's energy is not extraordinary or unusual in itself. Resourcefulness is not about having exceptional physical or mental stamina, nor is it the same as resilience, the ability to withstand setbacks. A resourceful person also does not necessarily possess extraordinary willpower or self-control. Instead, what distinguishes the resourceful person is an ability to maintain motivation and keep going for far longer than most people without any visible effort. The resourceful person seldom questions whether something is worth the effort, since, by an unquestioned assumption, it invariably is. In an odd way, the resourceful person's true superpower is simply the ability to care deeply and instinctively about their own life. This differs from being selfish or narcissistic. In fact, many selfish and narcissistic people often grapple with whether their life is worthwhile enough to live. Clearly, resourceful people excel as COOs, programmers solving complex issues, and operator-type entrepreneurs. But these stereotypical examples lack interest. What fascinates me more are those relentlessly resourceful in navigating everyday life outside of hero journeys. For them, resourcefulness defines how they live, with anything less than an "of course it's worth it" attitude equating to some degree of lifelessness.